3:45. No, 3:45 in the morning. Alright, it's 3:45 in the morning. My Uber's arriving 2 minutes, and I'm on the way to Fort Lauderdale. I went to bed last night. Oh my god, that light is terrible. How am I supposed to film this? I went to bed last night at like midnight, which was not long ago. It wasn't even last night. I look terrible right now. Holy crap. I'm in the airport, in the Philly airport. I can only take so many videos of me driving to the Philly airport to put into the vlog. But I'm here in the airport because I'm heading down to Fort Lauderdale for the WSOP Circuit events, play some cash games, and yeah, just me by myself, no kids. So this will be a vlog of me playing a lot of poker. Alright, so I'm here. I made it here to sunny Florida. Nice flight, smooth. I met a nice guy by the name of Greg, who I talked to at the airport. Good conversation with Greg there. And now I'm here at Whole Foods, gonna grab some coffee, pretty hungry, and then gonna find a poker room to play. And looks like I just looked at the Bravo app and the Isle has a 5-10 no limit game going, so gonna head over there. Can't get into my hotel room yet, so gonna go play some poker for a little bit.
See you in Fort Lauderdale, where everything pastel fails, where everything is veiled in the lace of honey. I've never been to Fort Lauderdale. I don't think I have, babe, but I took some church trips when I was just a kid.
Alright, so session 1 here in Florida is in the books, and it did not go particularly well. Things got off to a bad start when I bought my chips and found out that one of my $100 bills was actually counterfeit. And I think it actually came from the last casino I was at. I'm not going to say the casino, but I think it came from there. And I don't know, has that ever happened to you guys before? I actually remember hearing on one of the Tells podcasts that Andrew Nemi does with Boosie, that somebody said that happened to them. So if that's ever happened to you guys, let me know in the comments. I had to fill up some paperwork and give my ID. Pretty brutal start to the session, so already down $100 before the session even starts. So I get into a 5-10 game. Game looks amazing. The action is great. I'm joking. So the game looks amazing. The action is great. And about 7 or 8 hands in, a guy who had just bluffed 2 of the last 3 hands, I get involved in a pretty big pot with him. The game is playing 5-10, 25, and the cutoff makes it $75. I 3-bet in the small blind with ace-king with the ace of clubs, the $250. The aforementioned player cold calls from the big blind, and the straddler calls, and then the opener calls. So we take the flop 4 ways, and the flop comes down King, Jack, 5 with 2 clubs. I decided check because looks like the big blind is reaching for chips, but he ends up checking and it checks around. The turn is the 10 of clubs, giving me the nut flush draw, still have top pair. I decide to check again, and the big blind bets $500. The other 2 players fold, and I make the easy call. The river's an offsuit 8, which really shouldn't change anything. I check, and he bets $850. And I think at this point against this player, there's probably no way I can fold my hand, so I go ahead and make the call. And it turns out that the 8 did change something because he had King 8 of diamonds. So not the best start there for us, losing that pretty big pot to the 2-outer on the river. I played one other hand where the button straddled, and there was one caller and it folded to me in the cutoff, and I made it $100 with Queen Jack offsuit. The button made the call, we took the flop heads up. The flop came down 10-9-7 rainbow. I decided to check, and he bet $50. I make the call. The turn is the king, so we got the nuts. Good turn card. I check to him, he checks back. And the river's an offsuit 4, so we still have the nuts. I decided to overbet and bet $450. I don't know if I really like that decision, but that's what I did. And the button hemmed and hawed for a really long time, and then eventually made the fold. A few of the more active players ended up leaving. We switched the game to PLO. Played a few rounds of that, nothing major happened, and then the game broke. I jumped into a 2-5 game where not much was really happening. Ended up playing there for about an hour and a half, and breaking even. Ended up being into the game for $4,000 and cashing out $22.05, so $1,795 loss to start the trip, but not really much I can do with that big hand that I lost there, and then the game breaking, unfortunately. So the plan here now is go get some lunch, go to the gym, take a nap, and then come back for some more. Alright, so I'm at my second casino of the day, walking through the parking garage, Jamin Burton style. Got a little rest, got some food, went to the gym, feeling pretty good. I'm now at the Seminole Coconut Creek. There's a 2-5 game going on right now, a couple 2-5s. Gonna try to get a 5-10 started. If that doesn't get going, gonna probably try to head down to my third casino of the day, check out the Hard Rock. The traffic going down there was really bad. There is a 5-10 going there, but the traffic was really bad at this time, so I'm just gonna try to get a game started in here and see how it goes.
Besides, of course, the beach and the surf and the palm trees. What Fort Lauderdale is to do. It's a great place on spring break '88.
All right, so back here in the room, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Just wrapped up the session. I'm exhausted. I've been up got up at 3:30 in Philadelphia, 22 hours ago. So I'm gonna get some rest. How the plan is to play the circuit main event tomorrow. When I get up, I will update you guys on what went down in this cash game session. Day 2 of Florida. Figured we should have a little coffee and a little chat here on this pretty ugly couch in this ugly hotel room. So got about 7 hours of sleep last night. And time to talk about some of the hands that happened last night in the 2-5 game at the Seminole Coconut Creek. I went up there trying to get into the 5-10 game. There was a long list for a long time, but we just could never get the game started. But the 2-5 game was pretty good. But basically within the first 20 minutes of sitting down, I lost a lot of hands. So I made, and most of them came against the same player. I had Ace King, and he made quads with Jack 9 suited in a heads up pot on 9-9-4-9 Ace. So I lost a bit there. I lost a few more hands to him, and then a woman who just came to the table opened a 30. I 3-bet in the cutoff to 100. She has 250 total. I 3-bet to 100 with Ace King offsuit, and the same guy makes it $250 in the big blind. The woman shoves her remaining stack in, and we are about $1,000 effective with the big blind. I ultimately decided to fold, and he shows aces, so got away a little bit cheaper there at least. Within the first half hour of the game, I was stuck probably $600 or $700. Finally got some momentum going. The button straddled, and I complete the small blind with Queen Jack of Spades. We end up going 5 to the flop for $10 each. The flop comes Queen Jack 9 with 2 diamonds. I lead for 50. Folds around to the button who makes it 120. I decide to call. I'm not feeling great about the situation, and I don't know if it's just one of those things where I've been losing every pot and I don't feel great about it, or if you know, it's just his raising range is going to be pretty strong on this board. But I end up calling. The turn though is a jack, so we fill up. So very exciting card for me to hit, obviously. I check it over to him, and he bets $120. We started the hand 1,000 effective. I think I want to start getting more money in the pot here. I don't want the board to change on the river with a diamond, or you know, double pairing the board or something like that. And I think we can just get some more money in. Obviously, can occasionally call if we think he's bluffing at all, but it didn't feel like he was bluffing. So I go ahead and make it $325. He thinks for a while and then folds 10-8 face up for the straight, which is not a good thing. You know, happy to hit a full house, but not happy not to get the maximum. But you know, in retrospect, maybe a smaller raise or a call on the turn is fine. But I don't know. I just wanted to get more money, and he didn't seem like the type that wanted to fold. But clearly, I was wrong about that. The game was good, like I said, but I just wasn't winning any hands at all. Just losing lots of small pots, losing lots of medium-sized pots, and just not winning pot showdown. And then this hand came up. at this point I was probably down $700 or $800. The under the gun player limps in, folds to me in the cutoff. I make it $20. A guy who's been splashing around in pretty much every pot flats the small blind, and the limper folds. So we take the flop heads up. Comes 9-7-4 with 2 clubs, and he checks to me, and I bet $25, and he pretty quickly makes it $75. He has $325 behind. The play here is to call, and then call most turn jams. He had been kind of overplaying top pair a lot, and had been super aggressive, so I think calling makes sense. The turn is an offsuit 6, and he does quickly jam for $325. I make the call, and the river's a deuce, and he turns over 9-7 for top 2. So I'm gonna lose that one, and now I'm into the game for $2,000, and I think I'm stuck about $1,200 or so. So things are not going well, and I'm actually just about to call it a night when I get dealt ace-5 of clubs under the gun 2. The button straddles, the big blind completes, under the gun calls, I call, and it folds around to the straddle, who makes it $60. Big blind calls, and the entire table calls basically, so we take it 6 ways to the flop for 60 apiece. The flop comes down ace, ace, 6 rainbow with 1 club. And we check it over to the player in mid position, the player actually from the last hand who had the 9-7, and he decides to lead $75, which is a very strange bet to lead on this board, you know, into a pot of 360. Everybody folds around back to me, which is the ideal scenario for me, and I make the call. The turn is the jack of clubs, so now we have trips and the flush draw. I check it over to him, and he bets $110. I don't think anything to do here but call, so I go ahead and make the call. And the river's an offsuit deuce. I check, and he checks, and he shows 3-6 of diamonds for 2 pair, and my trips win a pretty sizable pot. The biggest pot that I probably won thus far in the day, definitely the biggest pot I won in the day. So I ended up playing for another hour or so because the game had started to get short. Won a few more small pots and ended up booking a $625 loser in that game. So for day 1, the totals were lost $17.95 in the 5-10 game earlier in the day, and then broke even in 2-5 for a little bit at the Isle, and then lost $625 at Coconut Creek. So while I'm here on this couch, this kind of brought me to a little wrap up of the day 1, and just a little thing that I want to talk about is that probably doesn't come across in this vlog because I don't really talk about all my normal poker sessions that much, but the last month or 2 has been a little bit rough for me, which is kind of just, you know, part of poker, obviously. It's been a little bit rough in a personal sense, but also just from poker it hasn't been going that great. And so I kind of wanted to talk about like a little bit of the mental game and things like that, and something that people that play poker, even people that play poker or people who don't really know that much about poker don't understand, is that a lot of poker is just about trying to break even or win a little bit when things are going terribly. I'd say it's like 80% of poker. A lot of people think they run worse than everyone else, but really it's just, that's the way the game works. It's just like built into the structure of the game that you're gonna have a bunch of really tough decisions, and a lot of the time. And the people who are the best at poker are able to either break even or win small in these times and keep themselves sane and in a great mental space so that when things start to go well, they're able to capitalize on that and win the maximum. And so, you know, if you look at a long-term graph, you know, and you might see a graph that goes straight up, but in reality, in the long term, there's a bunch of those little bumps along the way, and it's really just a lot of long stretches of break even or small wins, and then huge upswings when things are going well. So that's, you know, what I'm trying to focus on during this time period. I've been here before, you know, and I'm sure I'll be here again. And so really just the people who can make the best decisions at all times, regardless of the way that things are going, are going to be the ones that you know, come out on top. And so that's what I'm focused on, and we're going to get day 2 started today. The plan is to go up to Coconut Creek for the WSOP Circuit main event, and it's $1,700 buy-in with a $1 million guarantee. Day 1A is today. You get one, I believe you get 1 entry on each day. I don't think you can re-enter each day, so hopefully bag tonight and then be able to play some cash tomorrow. We'll see how the day goes, and that will probably be part 2, because this is going to be a lot of hands in here. So appreciate you guys as always for following along on the journey. I am posting updates constantly on my Instagram at TreyMomi. If you guys want to check that out, it's probably a cooler way to follow along with the day-to-day life here. So thank you guys as always. If you do like the videos, please consider hitting the subscribe button and hitting the like button. If you guys want to leave a comment, I respond to every comment. And if you have any questions about any of the hands, I'd be more than happy to talk over them. Or if you have any questions about mental game, because I feel like that's something that is one of my strengths, and you know, it's really hard. It's one of the toughest things to deal with when things aren't going well. So I appreciate you guys as always, and I look forward to seeing you for part 2.